Alright, we're back for the second video. Sorry about the first one, the last 30 seconds there, so I had to uh, uh, basically pause the sound because I had to go grab my son and he was crying and it would have been really bad on the mic. But as you can see from the first three games, this deck is fast and it is incredibly fast. Most decks can't keep up. Well, can't keep this hand. This is not a great hand, but we can work with it. 4 lands is basically as much as this deck needs, and having 16 1-mana spells, not having any in the opening hand is really bad for us. And our opponent went first, so we are going to be pretty behind this game. If he has a torch for us, then we're going to be very far behind. But we do have an Oathbook, and we do have an Impending Doom. A 6/6 attacking Impending Doom can attack into his Sandstorm Titan, but he have chosen to expand his board rather than killing our 2/2, and I think that's going to be a really big mistake for him. We'll be swinging in for 5. If we had had the Minotaur Oathkeeper on turn 1, we would have been able to do an additional 5 points of damage by now. Because we could attack on turn 1, 2 for... Oh, actually, no. Additional 2 points of damage, sorry. I don't think we make this trade here. Our Oathkeeper is much more useful than his sort of vanilla 2/1. 3/2. Still, I think we are in really good shape. Because by the time he has enough power to play the Predatory Cranosaur, this would be too big for him. Yeah, it'll be a 7/7 by the time he plays the Cranosaur, I think. Oh no, it'll be a 6/6. I guess... No, we're not gonna block. I guess he wants to attack and then torch. That's fine. We're attacking with both units next turn, so we don't need the Oathbook anymore. And he's dead next turn, unless he can answer one of the flyers plus Bartholo's here. I have 5 attackers, and he has 2 blockers, and he's at 4 life. I don't think there's anything in his deck that can stop me from killing him. So once again, this has demonstrated just how fast this deck is. Most of the decks out there today just can't keep up with it. Even opposing Skycrag and Stonescar decks, I found that I'm able to keep up with them. And if I go first, I'm usually the aggressor. So we are 4-0. We've climbed into top 50s, which was our goal. So let's just do a few more games and see how much further we can climb on this winning streak. You do have to understand, though, that this deck does suffer from variance from time to time, and that is because we run a lot of conditional cards. All of the combat tricks, all of the protects, the Oathbook, all of the weapons, they are all conditional cards. So half of the deck are conditional cards. You're going to end up in games... we'll keep this hand, it's pretty good. You're going to end up in games where you draw like no units and all combat tricks and weapons. That's going to happen. So just be aware if you play this deck. Once in a while that'll happen, and just, don't get tilted by it, because mathematically it's bound to happen. Okay, once again, my opponent doesn't do anything on turn 1. If he doesn't kill this Oathkeeper, we're attacking him for 3 next turn, and then attacking him for 7 on the following turn. That's too fast. Like, and the thing is, this deck is pretty new. I don't think our opponents appreciate how important these 1-drops are. So a lot of them are going to try and play units and not burn them out. Well, this one is going to burn it out. So he did the right thing. That slowed us down by a lot. It saved himself, I think, 3 damage this turn, and then 4 damage next turn. That's 7 damage, or possibly even more. So I'm pretty happy silencing this. I'm not worried about a Sandstorm Titan because even if he plays it, this becomes a 7/7 attacker. Could be potentially a 10/10 attacker. So nothing my opponent can play is gonna fight with this in combat. Oh, now we have to protect as a backup. So we are really safe here. There's actually nothing my opponent can do. And this is going to be 7 damage. We have Protect. I don't think there's anything in his deck that can kill it anyway, so the Protect is not very useful. And the Predatory Cranosaur is not big enough to killer this either. So I think this unit is going to beat him. I don't think there's anything he can play that's going to make a difference, especially in these colors. Praxis decks have a really tough time against big creatures. And as you can see on turn 4, we have a 7/7 and an 8/8 on turn 5. Unless he splashes blue, maybe, or black for removal, he is going to lose this game in 2 turns. Or next turn, because we have a Finest Hour here. So for this, we don't have to play out our second Enforcer, because having both of these, Finest Hour and Protect as a way to protect our units, he dies next turn no matter what he does. See, once again, that doesn't do anything. My unit's way too big. Yep, and he dies on the attack. He's hoping we don't have a Finest Hour, but we're just gonna show off a little bit and steal his unit as well. Because, why not? And then Giant Growth this for the maximum salt. That was a little mean, maybe bad-mannered, but 17 damage on turn 6. Yeah, so once again, it really shows that with Oath in play and with the way this deck runs, you're not really afraid of any of the Praxis decks because by turn 3 or 4, none of your units can be killed by their units or by the removal spell. And also, this is a very resilient deck because we're going to have to mulligan this because we have no turn 1 or 2 play. This is not a great turn 2 play, and we don't have a land for the 3rd play. This can be very good if we draw a land and it curves perfectly into this, but I think our deck can do a little bit better. I would really like a turn 1 play. There we go, turn 1, 2, 3 play right there. So this is a much better hand. Once again, another Praxis deck. This deck is also quite resilient against control decks because you never have to overextend into Harsh Rule. You can just ride one unit to victory, and if they kill it, you can play another one. Wait, color do I want? I guess I'll get a Justice. Attack for 1. Yeah, having Oath in play pretty much makes all of your threats a must-answer threat, and most control decks don't have enough removal spells to deal with every single unit in your deck, which gives you a form of inevitability against control decks. I could play the Bloodder and attack for 5, but this deck definitely has a lot of removal, and Vanquish is going to be one of them for sure. So I'm actually wondering if I should just put it onto the Oathkeeper and attack him for 5 here. Or I can save it to put it onto, or save it until I draw Protect, which I have a lot in my deck. But I think I'm interested in doing damage, so let's just go ahead and hit him for 6. This pretty much demands that he has to Vanquish right now, and if he does have to Vanquish, we can Valkyrie Enforce the next turn and still attack. I know this is oh no, he doesn't have it. I know this is a little bit all in, but I could attack, make him double block, and then I can kill both of his units. But I think I'm actually just I don't want him to I don't care about killing his 2/5 at all. I just want to do as much damage as I can. So this is why I chose to take the route that I took. Oh, my opponent doesn't have a removal spell in his hand. That's pretty unfortunate for him, unless he plays a land now. So I'm still going to attack him for 6. The question is, do I silence this unit? The reason is, if I silence it, well, if he has a Harsh Rule, then I get blown out. And the answer is, I'm not going to silence it, because at the very best, he can get 7 power, and 7 power isn't that much bigger than 6. I think the cutoffs are 8 for the Great Parliament. And then, oh, there's the Vanquish. So because if he has a Vanquish rather than Harsh Rule, I should have played the Enforcer. I'm now 1 turn behind. I think, yeah, the critical numbers are 8 and maybe 12. And then 15, of course, for himself. So we're definitely not going to block here. So because he has a Vanquish, not Harsh Rule, we are worse off. But this is going to be very good. He dies next turn if he can't stop either of these units, because I have 8 damage. And even if he can kill my Enforcer, I can do... well, I think I'll do 2 to him, because I don't want to use the Finest Hour unless it's for the kill. Yeah, so he needs to draw into a Harsh Rule pretty bad. Okay, so he does answer this. I'm fine taking damage. This deck ends up trading and racing quite often anyway. So I can kill him in 2 turns if he doesn't have an answer. So next turn I attack him with Bartholo for 3. He goes to 5. And then on the following turn, I will chump block his Enforcer, taking 10 or 9. And then I kill him on the following turn. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, so 4. So next turn he dies, unless he can kill my Bartholos or me. I don't think anything in his deck is going to allow him to kill me if I'm chump blocking here. Worst case scenario is he has Obliterate, does 5 to me, then if he has Obliterate, then I die. But anything other than that, he dies next turn. Unless both of those are removal spells, which I don't think they are. Even if he has a weapon like a Rune Hammer, I'll be okay. Now that doesn't do anything. I'm still going to kill him on the attack. Because of the Oathkeeper. Oh, and then he doesn't know about the Finest Hour, of course. So yeah, we'll just chump block here and then kill him on the attack back. Oh, one thing that will save him is another Combre Healer, gaining 3 life. Okay, so now he dies. Okay, that was a close game. My opponent's deck is very powerful, but yeah, we're too fast. Decks just can't keep up with this kind of speed. I'm gonna have to stop the video again and record the next game on a separate video. I have to go take care of my son who is crying again.